Hello, my name is Daniel, and we will be presenting about China's economic slowdown, along with Ash Emerson, Salini, and Suki. So we are going to briefly go through an overview, then we'll talk about potential policies. After that will be assumptions, finally limitations.
Starting off, let us briefly go through the background of this economic issue. What does it mean and why does it matter to us Malaysians, you may wonder? Well, China is the second largest economy in the world, according to world data, boasting around 17.96 trillion USD gross domestic product, GDP, playing a significant role in the world economy. However, in recent years, China has been facing a serious notable economic slowdown. The Chinese economy has failed to achieve double-digit growth since 2011 after a rapid economic boom in the early 2000s and late 20th century, with the GDP growth rate staying stagnant at around 6 to 7% for the past 10 years. But their influence and grasp of the global economy and GDP as a whole never stopped. Even for a second, as you can see on the left here, we have a graph which showcases China's share of global GDP from 1980 to 2024 with forecasts until 2029. You can see a gradual increase in their share of the global GDP starting from the 80s to the current year, showing no signs of slowing down until 2028 when it is finally predicted to stabilize. This means that although economic GDP levels have slowed down, their importance to the global economy as the largest exporter and second largest importer of goods in the world, as well as one of the largest manufacturing economic powerhouse, will persist and even intensify in the near future, which will likely hurt quite a number of advanced and developing economies that depend on trade with China. As a result, China's economic health has a big impact on global markets, especially to commodity exporting developing countries such as Malaysia. According to OECD, China's contribution to the global GDP is at a significant 22.3% in 2023. The graph below shows the percentage drop in GDP for countries that rely on trade with China. If China's economy were to slow down by minus 1%, you can see that in the event of China's economic slowdown by negative 1%, the Malaysian economy follows that, and by going down by minus 0.11%. Moving on to the next slide, let's talk a little bit about the global impact that China's economic slowdown has, with the most notable one being global supply chain disruptions. Disruptions in China can lead to bottlenecks in global supply chains, affecting industries worldwide, particularly in the automotive, electronics, and manufacturing industries. These industries play a dominant part in China's supply chain and are expected to suffer a severe economic blow if China fails to recover within a short time. For example, the automotive industry depends heavily on semiconductors and microchips from China, with the sudden shortage of chips caused by the COVID-19 outbreak, resulted in a loss of 11.3 million units of car production worldwide in 2021, along with a $2 billion loss in revenue. The graph below shows the global supply chain pressure index, where GSCPI after the year 2020 dropped dramatically as a result of China's lockdown policies in response to the COVID-19 outbreak, indicating China's important role in dictating the world's supply chain. To the right, we have an article from the New York Times in which it highlights the struggles of the Korean automotive company, as well as being the world's fifth largest automaker, Hyundai, when they suffered production line issues and were forced to temporarily stop production at its factories in South Korea because of shortages in Chinese parts due to the outbreak. The virus taught us a lesson in how much the world's car factories revolve around China. Hence, we can conclude that China's economic slowdown could potentially pose a threat to major industries, halting large corporations, which would subsequently then affect countries with major economic ties to China. Now, I would like to touch upon the impacts that a Chinese economic slowdown would have on Malaysia. China is Malaysia's largest trading partner, so a slowdown in China's economy would have significant repercussions for the Malaysian economy. About 17.1% of Malaysia's total RM.2.8 trillion worldwide trade value is generated through China in 2022. And the total trade value between the two countries is 487.13 billion ringgit, according to the Prime Minister's Office of Malaysia. Therefore, a reduction in Chinese demand due to an economic slowdown will lead to a decline in Malaysian exports, particularly in machine and electronics and mineral products. The chart on the left represents the data of exports from Malaysia to China in 2022. In 2022, OECD reported that Malaysia exported a total of $48.5 billion to China. The decline in Chinese demand would impact Malaysian manufacturers and exporters. A significant reduction for example, integrated circuits can adversely affect the national GDP due to its large percentage as part of the exports to China, subsequently slowing down the Malaysian economy too. The graph at the bottom showcases the sectoral impact on Malaysia as a result of China's economic slowdown. We can see that electronic and optical suffers the most with a reduction of minus 30%, followed by basic metal at about minus 21%. Knowing this, we can look to implement policies or strategies that would best mitigate the negative impact of the reliance on exports decline due to China. Besides that, China's economic slowdown is likely to result in reduced foreign direct investments, FDI, as Chinese firms and investors become more cautious and conserve capital during these tough times. China is one of Malaysia's biggest foreign direct investors. Between 2015 to 2022, China's gross FDI averaged around 7.5 billion ringgit annually. China was the main FDI in Malaysia's manufacturing sector from 2016 to 2022. Many Malaysian manufacturing firms have partnerships and joint ventures with Chinese companies. A reduction in Chinese investments could impact technology transfer and production capabilities. The infographic on the top left shows major sources of overall approved FDI in Malaysia in 2021, with China coming in second with a total of 31.3 billion ringgit out of the total of 208.6 billion ringgit, according to MEDA. Below the infographics is a graph that shows the net FDI flows from China in Malaysia by sector, with the service sector receiving the most investment from China and manufacturing coming in second over the course of 7 years between 2015 and 2022. Therefore, it is clear to see that Malaysian sectors heavily rely on Chinese investments. We may see a significant reduction in funding in projects and delayed completion of projects if China's economy were to slow down, as China investors have been major players in Malaysia's real estate market, contributing to the development of large-scale projects and increasing property values. Also, public infrastructure could also be affected, resulting in cancellation of large infrastructural projects which could affect Malaysia's public transportation development progress. So we can conclude that long-term decline in investments has detrimental effects on the economy due to lower productive capacity. That's it from me. Thank you.
So thank you, Asher. Now we're going to talk about the potential policies. And the first potential policy is developing a global talent magnet program. So what is this program about? This program draws in highly skilled professionals and entrepreneurs from around the world, where Malaysia can have an economy filled with new ideas, technologies, and business models, which can help mitigate the impact of external economic slowdowns by fostering a robust, innovative domestic market. So how do we implement this for the export decline issue is by diversification and innovation. We attract global talent that can lead to the development of new products and services tailored to diverse international markets, which reduces Malaysia's reliance on China. This increases the competitiveness, and how? By skilled professionals bringing innovative techniques and practices that enhance the quality and competitiveness of Malaysian exports. Now we're going to talk about the enhanced productivity that helps this issue by advanced skills and knowledge. So when global talent brings advanced skill and knowledge, particularly in high-tech and high-value sectors, this improves productivity and efficiency in manufacturing and service industries. And technology transfer. Foreign experts introduce new technologies and processes, boosting the sophistication and value-added nature of Malaysian exports. So now we're going to move to the next issue, which is investment reduction. So how do we implement this for this issue? Is by attracting diverse investments. So skilled global talent includes entrepreneurs and investors who can start new business or invest in existing ones, fostering economic growth. And how? By having innovation hubs. By establishing these hubs and incubators, it attracts venture capital and private equity investments, focusing on high growth sectors like technology and green energy. Now we're going to talk about the second potential policy, which is establishing a national resilience hub. So what is an NRH? It serves as a central repository for data and a think tank for developing strategies to enhance Malaysia's resilience against economic shocks, which includes in resulting from global slowdowns like China's. And the first issue is export decline. So now we're going to see how to address this issue. First, data-driven strategies. The utilization of advanced data analytics. It is used to track and analyze global economic trends and consumer behaviors to tailor export strategies. This is by identifying new export markets, which uses data analytics to find emerging markets, reducing over-reliance on China. Second would be diversifying export markets, which is targeted export promotion, supporting marketing campaigns and trade missions to promote Malaysian products in new markets. And this is by customizing products for new markets that adapts products to meet the specific needs and preferences of different markets using data insights. Now we're going to talk about the investment reduction issue. How do we use NRH to address this issue? Is by strengthening investment environment, which is by sectoral resilience that conducts comprehensive assessments of various export sectors to identify vulnerabilities and strengths. This is by promoting diversification and value-added production to encourage diversification within sectors and move up the value chain to increase export value. Last but not least, supporting technology, green energy, and high value manufacturing. So how do we do this? So for technology sector, we can invest in R&D and innovation to develop cutting edge products and services. Second would be green energy. This promotes renewable energy solutions and sustainable practices. Finally, high value manufacturing. This shift towards producing complex, high value products to command higher prices and reduce the market volatility. Thank you for my part, and I'm going to pass it on to Suki.
Thanks, Salini, and I will continue for the assumptions for both policy. The assumptions of establishing a national resident hub include its potential to help Malaysia achieve economic diversifications and manage risk effectively. For example, by leveraging the data analytic and strategy insight from the national resident hub, Malaysia can support various sectors of products rather than focus on a few products. It helps Malaysia create opportunity to export different products to different countries. Thereby, it helps to improve Malaysia's economic condition, such as GDP growth, because of increase in exporting. Besides, the data and information from the National Resilient Hub can provide strategy to help Malaysia avoid from economic disruption from other countries that could affect the Malaysia export activities. For example, during China economic slowdown, Malaysia could focus on exporting new products to other countries in order to offset the loss of export revenue from China. Economic diversifications can improve the investment in Malaysia as it provides multiple growth opportunities for investors. For example, diverse economies are less subject to fluctuations and are not easily affected by the specific market. Diverse products are more attractive than specific products market because they offer better opportunity, such as higher return on investment compared to specific products. Also, investors prefer a stable investment environment where risks are managed to reduce any potential disruption to their investment. Moreover, the assumptions of developing a global talent magnet program to hire high-skilled talent from other countries include boosting innovations and enhance global networks. High-skilled workers from other countries can drive innovations, which enable Malaysia to develop new or high-quality products and become more productive. Thus, it can enhance their competitive edge in the global market. Malaysia can leverage the network and connection of international talents to access their market, to access new market easily. Lastly, boosting innovations can help Malaysia attract more investors to invest, as Malaysia has a high-skilled workforce. This gives Malaysia a competitive edge over from other countries. Not only that, Malaysia can leverage the networks and connection of the global talent to attract foreign investors more easily. That's all for my part. I will pass to Daniel.
So thank you, Suki. So I will be talking about the limitations. So let's start with resilient hubs. So while resilient hubs offer the most powerful approach to like community preparedness, these do come with some limitations. First and foremost, monetary resources. So funding and resources, setting up and maintaining a resilient hub can be quite expensive. This includes securing a physical location, equipping it for emergencies, and staffing it with trained personnel. So grant funding or community fundraising might be needed, which can be quite competitive and uncertain. Next will be the data and measurement. So there is a lack of established metrics to clearly measure the effectiveness of resilient hubs. This makes it more challenging to demonstrate their impact and secure continued support from the public. Next would be the strategic locations, which ideally hubs should be located in a convenient and accessible location for all community members. However, transportation limitations or lack of outreach could make them irrelevant to some residents, particularly those that are from the more vulnerable areas. So let's move on to the second limitation, which is the limitations of introducing a global talent magnet program. It is great to implement it to get a robust domestic market, but it does come with a few drawbacks. First and foremost, cultural integration. Basically, successfully integrating a new team of members from a diverse background requires additional effort, such as language training, cultural sensitivity workshops, and tailored onboarding programs. These may be necessary to ensure a smooth transition and effective collaboration. Furthermore, visibility and bias. Attracting top talent from a global pool can be quite challenging. The program may not be recognizable in all regions, and qualified candidates might miss your postings. Additionally, some candidates may be selected over others due to the other factors, not related to their qualifications and skills. Next, finally, would be immigration issues. The process of obtaining work visas and navigating immigration regulations can be quite complex and time-consuming. This can delay onboarding new talent and add significant administrative burdens. So that is all for my part, and this is our presentation. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.